Welcome to LatinPerDiem. In this episode, we're beginning a brief series on Thomas Aquinas' De Ente et Essentia, on being and essence. It's one of his early works, written sometime between 1252 and 1256. This initial sentence is quite long, and so I will read the whole of it for this episode, but then analyze only a small part, and finish the sentence in subsequent episodes. Quia parvus error in principio magnus est in fine, secundum philosophum in primo caeli et mundi, ens autem et essentia sunt quae primo intellectu concipiuntur, ut dicit Aquinas in principio suae metaphysicae, ideo ne ex eorum ignorantia errare contingat, ad horum difficultatem aperiendam dicendum est, quid nomine essentiae et entes significatur, et quomodo induersis inveniatur, et quomodo se habeat ad intentiones logicas, scilicet genus speciem et differentiam. Now, the pronunciation that I am using is the one that I was taught, the pronunciatio restituta, the restored or classical pronunciation. The kind of pronunciation that Thomas Aquinas used in the 13th century was most likely the pronunciatio ecclesiastica, the church pronunciation, or the italic pronunciation. And so while what Aquinas would have said is quite different than the way I am reading it, but to my mind, different Latin pronunciations are like different dialects or accents. As long as individuals can understand one another and strive for consistency, it will work well enough. Let's take a look at Aquinas' first important sentence. As you can see, the hinge points of this sentence are the conjunction quia at the beginning and ideo, which comes in the part that we will deal with next time. Because, thus, therefore, so, because a small error at the beginning is a great one at the end, and notice the simplicity of the construction of this sentence. We have first the adjective, then its noun, then the prepositional phrase, then the adjective, which is the opposite of parvus, then the verb for both, and then the prepositional phrase. Because a small error at the beginning is a large one at the end, and this is secundum philosophum in primo libro caeli et mundi, according to the philosopher in the first book. That's what this stands for. This Roman numeral stands for primo libro, in the first book of On the Heaven and the Earth. The philosopher, of course, is Aristotle, 385 to 322 BC, very influential in the thought and works of Aristotle. Then he goes on to talk about Avicenna, the second influence. Ens autem et essentia. Moreover, he says, being and essence are the things which are first perceived by the intellect. So this is an interesting construction. We have the subject ens et essentia. It's a compound subject, so it takes a plural verb, sunt. The predicate of this compound subject is this relative clause, quae primo intellectu concipiuntur, being in essence are those things which are first perceived by the intellect. And who is his authority for this? Ut dicit Avicenna, in principio suae metaphysicae, as Avicenna says in the first book of his Metaphysics. This, of course, is Ibn Sina, 980 to 1037 AD, the famous Persian philosopher and scholar. Please join us next time.